Welcome back to the Avenue. I am so glad that you're here today. As we know, on this channel, we just simply talk about money, things that make money make sense. And that's a good thing. We all want money to make sense. And today is going to be a special show because we are more than halfway through the year. Can you believe it? It almost seems like January just got here and now we're already in the month of July. So here we go with the month of July. So what I want you to do and what we're going to talk about today are those things that we said that we were going to do in January financially. How are we? Did we do a quarterly check? If not, we're going to do a mid-year check. Just like you go to the doctor every year, once a year normally if there's nothing wrong. You go to the dentist twice a year if there's nothing wrong. We're going to do a financial checkup because we don't want to forget about that. We want our health to be good, but we want our wealth to be good as well. Stay tuned.
She's a go-getter, alright. What a beautiful sight. Anything she sets her mind to, she stays on it day and night. She writes the checks, she signs the deeds. She plants the fruitful seeds and still finds the time to meet all her family needs.
The very first thing I want to ask you is what grade would you give yourself today if you were ranking yourself as far as your finances? How good do you think that you're doing this year? Not that the grade that you thought you were going to get or you hoped that you were going to get in January, but what is the actual grade you would give yourself? Drop it in the notes, the comments down below. What grade would it be, a A, B, C, or D? Doesn't matter, but grade yourself today. It's very important that we look at this and grade ourselves today. The first thing that we want to look at when we're looking at our finances and doing this checkup is we want to look at our net worth, because it's not the income that you have coming in that's letting you realize how your finances are doing. Because you can have good income coming in and even gotten some raises this year. But if you're spending more than you're getting in or spending as much as you're getting in, your financial checkup may not be where you want it to be. So net worth is the thing that we want to look at. How do we figure net worth? It's all of our assets minus our liabilities. So those things that you have, your savings account, your cash money you have stashed somewhere, any bank accounts that you have, anything like equity in your home, equity in your car, things like that, things that you own that you can, if you were to sell, that you can actually gain money from. That is your beginning of how to figure your net worth. So the things that you own, your assets minus your liabilities. Liabilities are that house, what else did you have left on your house payment? So if you have $100,000 house and you have $80,000 equity and you owe 20 on it, 20 would go in the liabilities column. What about your cards? What do you own your cards? What about those credit card bills, personal loans, school loans, all of those that you owe money on? So you take the assets, you subtract the liabilities, and that will be your net worth. So when you do that, if the net worth is $100,000, great. If the net worth is $500,000, great. If the net worth is $1 million, that means you are a millionaire. You're a net worth millionaire. So that's where we want to start. So we do it today to see where we are. But then back in January, you should have done it in January of this year. Where were you then? Was your net worth at 20,000 and now it's at 25,000? That's how you can grade yourself, how you're going up in net worth. So that's the first step that we want to make, is to see where our net worth is, because just earning money does not determine how your financial grade is going to be mid-year. Now, we want to account for our savings rate. This is another very important number. How much money have we saved to date? You can drop it in the comments below if you're brave enough, but how much money did we not intend to save or plan to save at January, but how much money have you saved? That savings account and however many buckets that you have out there, has it gone up? Did you save the $50 every month like you said you were going to do? Because, and even sometimes we get in extra money. You may have gotten in birthday money, you may have gotten in Christmas money, you may have gotten a windfall, tax refunds. What did you do with all of that? Because if you didn't have intentions to save it and actually put it somewhere, you probably don't know what happened to it unless you bought a big item and know that it went straight to that big item, or unless you paid down a debt and know it went straight to paying down that debt. But how much have you saved? A very important number, because we need to be saving, you guys. We need to be saving in good times, so when hard times hit, we have something to fall back on. What is your savings rate? Whatever you said that you were going to do, are you doing it? That's what we want to know. So if it's $50, $75, $100, $150 that you have going into whatever account that you have it going into, maybe an investment account, maybe a brokerage account, maybe an account to buy a new house, it may be an account to buy a new car, it may be an account to go on vacation, whatever it is, have you done that? Have you saved that money that you said that you were going to save? That's what we wanted to know next. And this is all a part of our financial checkup. Just like the doctor checks blood pressure and your temperature, your heart rate, all of this, your pulse, we need to check these things to get an accurate reading on our financial health. Next up, let's talk about our spending habits. You know you weren't getting out of here without talking about spending habits. Have we changed anything? Did we say in January that we were going to change something? Did that occur? If we said that we were not going to go out every evening to eat, but maybe eat 3 times a week, maybe eat 2 times a week outside of the house, did we do that? We know that groceries have gone up. We know the inflation is still high. We know gas goes up. Sometimes it comes down a little bit, but then it goes back up. We know all of this, and that has increased the spending in some areas. But in the areas that you said that you were going to control, has the spending gone down? It may be a zero gain, a zero loss because of inflation. But have you done the thing that you said that you were going to do at the beginning of the year as far as spending is concerned? Have you cut back on those lattes? Have you cut back on just going out to eat in general? What about going out with the girls to happy hour? Has any of that affected your spending habits? And you've cut back on some things, maybe to save a little bit more. But have you done the thing that you said that you were going to do as far as spending? Maybe you're not doing that impulse spending. Maybe you're not going into the convenience store when you get gas and getting a big gulp or whatever it is that's taking your money. And then, because when you're not accounting for your spending habits, you don't know where that money goes. You may have cash of $20, $30, $50 at the beginning of the week, and you go in these little places and spend a little here, spend a little there. And because you're not accounting for your spending habits, at the end of the week, it's gone and you don't know what happened to it. We need to account for our spending habits. Remember, this is your financial checkup. My next question to you is, if you were to lose your job today, how long could you survive without that job before you can find another one? How many months or weeks or days could you survive without that job? And you know exactly what I'm getting at, your emergency fund. Have you adjusted that in any kind of way? Could you survive a month? Could you survive 3 months? Could you survive 6 months, 9 months? Some people can survive a year if they get laid off that job, because they can go and seek a job that they really want. They have the time to do that. Why? Because they've planned and they've set money aside in the emergency fund, the peace fund, the safety fund, whatever you want to call it. You need money there because people are still losing their jobs. Things are still happening. People are still running into a health crisis, and you may need the money for that. Things are still happening to people's houses and cars that were unexpected, and you need money for that. You don't want your general cash flow to be interrupted by an emergency. So what I want to ask you to look at, if you started out, let's say at the beginning of the year, you started out with 3 months of an emergency fund and your goal was to build it to 6 months. Have you done that? Say yes, Adrian, in the chat that I have built it to 6 months. I want to know your results. It's a lot of you guys looking at it, but I want to know your results. Give me a note in the chat. What have you done? Have you increased something? Have you not increased it? Because, you know, this is the checkup, and this is where this is where the rubber meets the road. When you get a checkup from the doctor and there's something on there that may be a little discouraging or a little negative because of your blood work, you want to jump on that right away. He's going to give you some things, whether it's medication, supplements, whatever. He's going to give you some stuff to help with that area, to bring it back up to where it needs to be, which is normally the average area. You know, I'm working on optimal health. So I want my stuff to be in the optimal range, not just the okay range or the average range, but as high as it possibly can be. So what I'm asking you to do is look at that emergency fund, see if you made any adjustments to it, to the emergency fund since the beginning of the year, your financial checkup. All right, before I get to this next one, I definitely want you to hit that like button, that subscribe button, so that you can stay up to date on the latest information that I'm bringing it to you, because this next one, some of you may get mad at me, but the next one is debt reduction. What have you done in that area? Some of you were very intentional at the beginning of the year that I'm going to reduce my debt in this area. It may have been your car payment. It may have been some MasterCard bill, some Visa bill. It may have been something like that. It may have been something with the highest interest rate. How are you doing with that? Are you still on path to where you need to be? All of the debt should be reducing it, because if you're on any type of snowball debt reduction, you're still paying the minimum on most of your debt, which it should be going down. You should not be adding to debt, you guys. Let me get it very clear. Your debt should be decreasing, not increasing. If your debt is increasing, you need to go back to square one and do this calculation again, do it all over again. Why is your debt increasing? Because there's some kind of leak somewhere that you need to take care of and patch up immediately. So look at your debt to see if the debt is going down. It should be going down really in all areas, but there should be one area that you may be focusing on that you want to get rid. And some of you all have totally gotten rid of at least one of the debts. Congratulations on that. If it could be a credit card that you got rid of, it could be a couple of credit card debts that you got rid of. It could be your car payments you paid off and you're not buying anything else. It could be anything like that. But look at your debt, because that is a vital part of your financial checkup. If you are still on the job, whether you're on the job a 9 to 5 or if you're in business for yourself, I want you to review your retirement plan. One day you will want to step out of that job or your business, or maybe, stop working in your business so heavily, but you need a retirement plan. If you do not plan to retire, you probably won't retire. If you plan to retire, you will know the date, the amount of money you need, and everything to retire and go live that next chapter of your life. So what I'm telling you is to look at your retirement plan if you don't have one. What are you putting away in your Roth IRA, 401k, Roth 401k, IRA, whatever you're putting away? It could be in a brokerage account that you're planning on having money in there in stock markets to retire off of. But you need to look at that to make sure you're on goal where you want to be. So that's a vital part of the financial checkup, is that retirement. And I know some of you are still young in the game and not really thinking about retirement. This is when you need to think about retirement, because the earlier you think about retirement, the better off you will be when you get there, because time is on your side. You have years for that money to grow and compound. So do that. Think about your retirement. Sit down. And, this financial checkup really, you guys, shouldn't really take that long, but it's so important. If you need to spend an hour, if you need to spend 2 hours on it, I would say definitely spend that time on it. Me, I check things on a monthly basis. Some things I check on a daily basis. Some things I check every week, just to make sure everything is okay and going where they need. And I have a running tab of my net worth. So I always know if things are going up, if things are going down, why things are going up, why things are going down. And more than likely, if something goes down, it's because the stock market went down, dipped a little bit. But then when it goes up, my net worth goes back up again. I don't have all these massive bills and everything like that on me, so I don't have to worry about the debt taking my net worth down. It's going to be a dip in stock market, a dip in the real estate market, or something like that, where the assets are a little less now than they were before. But take a look at it. It's vitally important. Spend that 1 hour, spend that 2 hours on your financial health. And speaking of investments, that's another area you want to review, your investments. It could be that you want to hang on to the stuff that you're investing in. It may be you want to change some of that stuff out. I know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm selling some stock and buying some more of certain kinds of stock. But instead of having a whole plethora of stock out there that I'm trying to keep up with, I'm simplifying things, bringing it down, getting my ETFs in order, and getting my individual stocks that I'm still interested in order. But it's not a long list. By the time I'm finished with it, it's not going to be a long list of a lot of stock that I was either trying out or attempting to do, or I heard something about and I wanted to do that. It's going to be culled down to a shorter list than it is right now. Simplification for me at this point in time. But look at your brokerage account, look at your stocks, see if you still want to be invested in those companies. Still great companies out there, you guys. Some of them are moving a little slow right now, and there's still some companies out there that are jumping by leaps and bounds if you're invested in them. So do your homework and look at your investments, look at your brokerage account, look at your rental property. Look at all of that and see if you're still where you want to be. See how that's going in your financial checkup. Okay, these next two are probably going to go pretty fast, but the next thing I want you to do is check on your insurance policies. You know, you have health insurance, you have life insurance, you have car insurance, your house insurance. See if those rates are still where you want them to be. Can you get a better rate somewhere? Can you package them together and get a better rate somewhere? Don't be so loyal to an insurance company that you're not ready to at least search out to see if there's a better deal for you with another insurance company, with a different insurance company. So we want to check on that because we need that, especially life insurance, you guys. One thing surely we're going to do is to pass away one day. And we want that life coverage to be there and, you know, more than enough really, that your family can be left some type of money after you leave this world. Everything is paid off and they can live, they can grieve, right? But they don't have to grieve and worry about how we're paying these bills. So life insurance is vitally important. Health insurance, we know health insurance has gone up. We know the doctor's office has gone up. We're paying more out of our pockets now than we ever have before. Check on all of that because we need it. It helps you sleep better at night. The next to the last thing I'm going to talk about quickly is your estate plan. If you have a will, if you have a trust, review that because if some things have changed, such as like I'm buying another property and getting rid of one, I'll need to update things for myself. So make sure you have a will, a trust, or something. So when you pass on, you can have everything in order. People don't have to wonder what you wanted. People don't have to fight over what you wanted. You have it written down and you can still speak from the grave as far as your items are concerned and who you want them to go to. So make sure you have that will together or that trust and check on it just in case you need to change some things or update some things. You put it together, it does not last the same forever. As you change, as your assets change, your will and trust needs to change along with that. We don't want to forget that. Now, once you've reviewed all of those things, you should have a thorough financial checkup by now. The next step is to focus on what's the one thing or two things that you want to focus on the second half of the year. If you made some of the goals that you set out or you're on point with some of the goals, great. But if you're behind in some of the goals, what are those things that you're behind in that you want to catch up? You know, we make these plans, we can adjust plans, and a great time to adjust a plan is at mid-year so that you can end up December 31st where you want to be, or at least as close as possible to where you want to be. Maybe you said you were going to save $100 at the beginning of the year, but with inflation and everything, you can only save $50. Adjust it, change it. So at December 31st, you know where you're going to be in your savings rate. You know, emergency fund, paying down debt. What is that one or two goals that by the end of the year you want to switch over and focus on? This is an awareness point right now. We want to become aware of what we need to do to make it to December 31st with the goals that we want to have accomplished. Don't kill yourself by listing out a whole bunch of stuff. Focus on the one or two things that's going to move the needle for you and make you feel much better when we go into 2027. One thing I know is that you don't need a perfect financial life, but you do need an intentional one. And that's what we're trying to do with this financial checkup. Be intentional with the goals and the actions that we're going to take. So at the end of the year, we can be where we want to be. Those things that you found out by going through the checkup that you need to adjust, go ahead and adjust those. If you're not meeting certain things, face it, and you want to continue down that line, go ahead and make the adjustments on that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be intentional. And that's all I'm asking you to do. I'm doing my financial checkup along with you. If this has helped you, I will ask you to share this out with some of your friends because we need to do this financial checkup. It's not going to happen without us being intentional and doing the things we need to do in our finances so we can get to the place where we want to be. And you know, the goal is to buy our future freedom. And with that, I will see you in the next video.
Go Adrian. Humble, go get it blessed. Let's go.